Good day, grade 12. Let's talk about the average gradient today. But let's start with the basics. First of all, straight line graph. Let's say this is our graph. The gradient will be the same for this line, doesn't matter where it is, right? So the average gradient will be the specific gradient at any point for a straight line graph. Okay? So remember, the gradient is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 if you have 2 points on a graph. But I want to show you this because this will help you understand the rest of the work. Let's say this function was called f. The y values will then be fx, right? So the gradient where the numerator will still be x2 minus x1, the denominator. The numerator will now be, where y is 2, it will be f, where x is 2, minus f, where x is 1. It's still the same thing, just get used to the notation because we're going to use this all the time. Okay. So now let's look at something like a parabola. Okay. So here we have a graph, a Cartesian plane with a parabola. And let's assume let's make it easy for now. We are going to assume the graph fx where fx is equal to x squared minus 3. Okay, so we know that's how the graph will look like. Okay, now I'm asking what is the average gradient for this graph where x is equal to -4 and where x is equal to 3. Okay, so we've got two x coordinates. x1 is -4 and x2 is equal to 3. Now in order to do this, we have to first calculate f where x is x1 and f where x is x2. Okay, so let's do it over here on the right hand side, but we are going to do it by using the definition already stated, right? Now you don't have to do it this way, but in order for you to understand the rest of the work, it would be good to practice this. Okay, now this was x squared minus 3, right? So where x2 is 3, so it will be 3 squared minus 3 minus bracket, and x1 was -4, so it would be -4 squared minus 3, like that, divided by x2, which was 3, minus x1, which is -4. Okay, let's calculate. So 3 squared is 9, 9 minus 3 is 6. -4 squared is 16, 16 minus 3 is 13. And 3 minus a -4 becomes a 7. So our final gradient here is 6 minus 13, which is -7, over 7, which is -1. Okay, let's understand what we've just did. Okay? Look at our graph, and we have two coordinates where x is -4 and it was somewhere here. So we know that's where it was 13 and this was -4. So on the graph, that's our coordinates, right? And where x was 3, somewhere there. And those are the two coordinates on our graph. So what we just did is we calculated the average gradient between these 2 points. In other words, the line that goes through those points, that line's gradient, that is the average gradient on these 2 points. So that's how the average gradient works.